Welcome to City Hall and welcome to the NAAAP national team and local leaders to make a very, very special announcement and pre-kickoff to what's going to be a great opportunity for the city of Boston. I am really honored to be in this role as mayor of the city for about a year and a half now, and it's just been a really exciting moment of seeing our communities come back together after some very challenging years and seeing all the different threads of our culture and heritage and community highlighted in what we're trying to build as a city. And so, as I think many folks know, last month Boston was honored to welcome the NAACP's annual convention to Boston, which brought Black and Brown leaders from around the country and every industry here to our city. It was a huge economic impact for Boston, a huge, huge opportunity, and just amazing experience to see the welcoming environment and then the catalytic effect that had for our own efforts around inclusion, around investments in community, and making sure that we can truly be a city for everyone. Today, I'm really excited to follow on that momentum by thanking the National Association of Asian American Professionals for choosing Boston to host their national convention too, which will kick off right here in our city on Thursday. This is the largest Asian American professional network in the country. It's one that has had an impact and continues to have an impact right here in Boston with an incredibly strong and growing local membership. I'm proud to have been involved in events along the way over many, many years and to see the type of leadership that reflects and represents all of our various diverse cultures, even within the Asian American community, and the many, many sectors and positions of leadership that also are represented. The fact that even in just a span of one summer, we have two leading national organizations dedicated to advancing and uplifting communities of color choose our city as the place to host their annual gatherings and chart a course for the future is not a coincidence. It's a testament not only to the work that we are proud to be doing here at the City of Boston and City Hall, but to the work, more importantly, that our communities have been doing a long time in our neighborhoods. This has been happening for generations, and we carry so much history here in the city. It's often history that is told from a rather narrow viewpoint outside of Boston and in the public narrative or in the mainstream entertainment world or focus. But the fact is that there are stories of democracy and community building and innovation and activism spanning hundreds of years in our city that reflect every thread of culture in the fabric of Boston. We are home, for example, to one of the oldest Chinatowns anywhere in the country, and we have organizations here that have been serving Asian American residents for some of them over 100 years, celebrating major anniversaries and generations of impact that they have had. We are home to thriving immigrant communities that represent and reflect all different cultures tied to an Asian American origin. And what we hope to do as a city is to make sure that we're not only elevating and empowering the AAPI community overall, but really being intentional about finding spaces for the specific and individualized outreach that can reflect each one of our cultures and how we all connect to and share in the celebrations of our diversity. When I first came to Boston, didn't know anyone and was feeling incredibly homesick as a college kid, just kind of dropped off here, had never really been away from home and my family. The first place that I went was Chinatown. And there was a sense of not only familiarity, but immediate family. That is how I think we see so much of our city, whether it is Little Saigon, Nubian Square, Little Italy in the North End, or just about any of the cultures that are represented East Boston and the Latin Quarter in Jamaica Plain. We want to be a city where multi-generational stories are written and multicultural, multilingual stories are told every single day. That spirit is embodied in NAAAP, the National Association of Asian American Professionals, both at the chapter level and at the national level. It is an entirely volunteer-run organization, so hats off to so much work that I know goes into putting together something like this out of the activism and leadership and service to community. this organization and this series of incredible workshops and discussions and convenings over the next couple days are proof that when you give people opportunities and resources, the appetite and the interest is there to roll up your sleeves and go all the way in on tackling our biggest challenges together. In the coming days, people within our community will gather in Boston to address crucial questions like, how do we build solidarity between Asian communities and Black communities? How do we build a more expansive understanding of our shared identities to be inclusive of intersecting experiences from members of the LGBTQ+ community to transracial adoptees? These are some of the events and themes and conversations that will be created so that everybody can not only talk about your own identity, but understand and learn and grow together. I also want to encourage everyone to attend 2 events that are free and open to all members of the public. There will be a Makers Market happening this Thursday from 5 to 8 p.m., which will showcase many of our amazing local AAPI businesses, one of whom we'll hear from in a little bit. And there will also be a career fair happening on Friday afternoon from noon to 5 p.m. with employers across industries, career coaching, and free professional headshots all in one place. Both events will be taking place at the Sheraton Boston Hotel in Back Bay. So thank you again, everyone. We are so thrilled and excited to host this very, very special event and to partner with NAAAP on an ongoing basis all throughout the year. And to share a little bit more of the work that NAAAP does, I'd like to turn it over to the president of NAAAP's Boston chapter, Harris Zhao.
Thank you, Meru. Hi, y'all. My name is Harris Zhao. I am the chapter president of the National Association of Asian American Professionals. I'll keep that to NAAP for short. In addition to the chapter presidency role, I am also the queer son of Chinese immigrants. I was born and raised here in Boston in the Chinatown community, so this convention is very special to me. Here at NAAP, we are a nonprofit organization that cultivates and empowers Asian and Pacific Islander leaders through leadership development, professional networking, and community service. We are driven by our work to bring Asian American from all backgrounds together and aspire to raise the bar of what it means to lead. Since our inception 41 years ago, our national organization has created professional spaces for those in the API community through scholarships. For example, we have our Future Leader Scholarship here in Boston that has delivered over $250,000 to well-deserving high school students from underrepresented and underprivileged backgrounds. We have also hosted decades of professional development conferences all across the nation, each of the local chapters having their own conferences here and there. And we have created awards and recognition platforms to highlight all the amazing talent that we have within our community. This year, we started the first most influential Asian American Pacific Islanders list here in Boston to celebrate and recognize all those who have served our community. And we have also built communities of belonging for our API professionals, including our parents and caretakers community, our women's community, and we started the Pride chapter for the LGBTQ+ community 4 years ago, where Boston was the founding chapter. In addition, we are launching our first Asian Adoptees Unity program this year at our convention. Here in NAAAP, we create communities and we build leaders. That is why this year we have chosen Boston to host our convention, because I know, because I was born and raised here, that we are an inclusive city and a city of visionaries. So without hesitation, I am just excited to have everyone here. Excited to bring people across the nation to gather at our convention and really showcase the best in our city and showcase the best in our community. So please join us. With that, I want to introduce our convention director and also a dear friend of mine, Sharita Rasanavable.
Thank you, Harris. Hi, everyone. My name is Sharita Rasanavable, and I am this year's Chief Convention Director of the National Association of Asian American Professionals. The 2023 NAAAP Convention will take place here in Boston on the 24th to 26th at the Sheraton Hotel. Our convention theme is Unifying Visionaries. The theme stems from this idea that anyone can be a visionary, regardless of where they come from, their background, career, or industry. A visionary is anyone that has the ability to see beyond the present and imagine a brighter future for themselves and their community. We have invited the top change makers, trailblazers, innovators all across the country to our city here in Boston, and we have also invited local community leaders. We want to do this because we believe that it's time that we all collectively put Asian voices at the table. As someone who was born and raised in New England to an immigrant Thai family, I've longed for a sense of belonging and community. I've never seen anyone in a position of power that I felt like I could identify with growing up. NAAAP Boston has provided that community for me and is where I was able to find mentorship among leaders who I felt like I could identify with. This is why we are inviting over 700 plus attendees to Boston, because we believe that this city will be the catalyst for people in our community who are founders, small business owners, professionals, community leaders, so that we can all collectively build and shape the next generation of API leaders. In addition to our convention, we're hosting New England's first unified API Founders and Funders Mixer tomorrow from 6 to 8 p.m. We're also hosting a makers market on Thursday from 5 to 8 p.m. to showcase all API vendors and businesses. And we're also hosting a diversity career fair from 1 to 5 p.m. on Friday so that we can continue to showcase the talent that we're able to bring to our convention. And we are concluding with a celebratory gala where we will be awarding our NAAAP 100 award to significant API leaders who've made significant contribution to our community. With over 700 attendees, 70 plus speakers, and 6 keynotes, we look forward to unifying these visionaries and raising the bar of what it means to be a leader in our community. I'm excited to introduce Chef Irene Lee, one of our speakers and local Boston celebrity. She is the co-founder of May Dumplings and a James Beard Award Leader Award winner. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sharita, and thank you also to Mayor Wu, to the Mayor's office team, and NAAAP, the local and national organizations, for the opportunity to share my story today. My name is Irene Xiang Lee, and I'm the co-founder of May Dumplings, a food truck turned restaurant turned dumpling factory in South Boston, and I'm also the co-founder of Prep Shift, a coaching, consulting, and workforce training business that supports small restaurants in Massachusetts and beyond. In June of this year, my sister and I released our second cookbook, Perfectly Good Food, a totally achievable zero-waste approach to home cooking. It is full of tips and tricks for saving money, reducing waste, and having more fun in the kitchen. Earlier this month, we were honored to see the book featured in The New Yorker and The Washington Post, and I'm delighted to present the book at the NAAAP Convention's Maker Market later this week. I grew up here in Boston as the Chinese-American child of 2 doctors and the grandchild of immigrants who opened a Chinese restaurant because it was what they had to do to survive. In 2012, my brother and sister and I opened our food truck, May Street Kitchen, here in Boston, not because it was a means of survival, but because it was an opportunity to express ourselves and to do what we loved most, feed people. Our food was, and still is, what you might call Chinese-ish, with influences from all over the world, and especially New England. There are cranberries, there is cheese, and while Yelp reviewers have helpfully informed us that this is not authentic Chinese food, they don't even speak Chinese in there. We maintain that it is authentic to us. Over the years, as we have evolved, we produce 40,000 dumplings every single week and now sell dumplings at farmers markets and teach classes instead of running a traditional restaurant. But our goals remain the same: to be ourselves, to tell our stories, and to invite our guests to be part of that story, dumplings included. My day job at Prep Shift now consists of working with restaurants, especially businesses that are smaller than mine that can't afford traditional consulting. Most of these are BIPOC-owned independent shops with razor-thin margins, like Tawakal Halal Cafe in East Boston, Japanese Bakery in Audubon Circle, and Roundhead Brewing in Hyde Park. These are the businesses I cannot imagine our city without, and that's what motivates me to do this work. In large part, it's possible because of our colleagues at the City of Boston's Office of Economic Opportunity and Inclusion, and my colleagues at Prep Shift and I are really, really grateful for this collaboration. What ties all of this together for me is something that is almost as Chinese as dumplings, a belief in abundance and generosity. Across my businesses and even in our cookbooks, sharing is a critical and core value. We do not keep secret recipes. We do not gatekeep information. We even published our profit and loss statement in 2020, which you can still check out online. And another example of this, in May of this year, to celebrate AAPI Heritage Month, May Dumplings created a dumpling disloyalty campaign. We are fortunate to have many loyal guests, but we also believe that there is enough to go around. Everyone should eat more dumplings, but they don't always have to be from May. So competition, in my opinion, is kind of boring, but collaboration is what makes life really fun. So we challenged our guests to go eat dumplings at 8 other AAPI-owned restaurants and then come to May to collect a prize. We had more than 75 participants, and many of them told us they discovered new businesses that they looked forward to going back to. I also think back to our food truck days and the week that we opened more than 10 years ago. Back then, the permitting process was a little tougher, now much improved. And we reached out to Patrick Lynch and Ali Fong, an incredible Asian American entrepreneur. And they were the owners of Banh Mi, a Vietnamese-inspired food truck, and we asked for some last-minute advice about navigating this process. Arguably, we were going to be their direct competitors, and even the name of our business would lead people to mistaking us for one another for years to come. So they could have ignored us, they could have told us to go away, but instead they wrote back a 600-word email with lots of bullet points answering every question we had and more. They signed it with, "Good luck with everything, and call us with your specific questions." So today, I see myself as a business owner and a person who is the product of acts of generosity and sharing, like this one. My life's work, I think, is about paying it forward, holding the door open, and if need be, kicking down the figurative door completely. And this is how I choose to understand my Chinese American and Asian American identity, creating good food and good outcomes and sharing them as widely as possible. Many thanks again, and I'd like to turn it over to Ezra Zwayeli, the Mayor's Office Director of Speechwriting and the former Chief Marketing Officer for NAAAP National.
Thank you, Chef Irene Lee, and thank you to NAAAP National, to Harris, Sharita, and the entire team at NAAAP Boston. I'll keep this brief because I'm really only here to do one thing today, and that is to express gratitude. I wouldn't be standing here if it weren't for NAAAP. It is that simple. In elementary school, my classmates would make fun of me for pronouncing words wrong because I had only ever heard my father say them. My father, who came to this country from Taiwan when he was younger than I am, knowing no one, speaking no English, with no way to know that he would spend years teaching himself a new language well enough to get a good job, but never well enough to be invited over by the other parents, or to protect me from those determined to remind us that we didn't belong. So for me, learning to read, speak, and write, not just well, not just fluently, but with an intensity and intimacy that would allow me to love this language enough to play with it and to tell stories and build worlds, that was an act of survival, a bid for belonging. And after graduating with a minor in creative writing, a friend of mine connected me to the then executive director of the National Association of Asian American Professionals. We met, and she offered me the opportunity to write for the organization. For her, I imagine it was an easy decision. Here was a kid eager to work for free for an organization that needed volunteers. For me, it was a decision that changed my life. As a young writer, there is nothing more exhilarating or empowering than to discover that there is an appetite for your writing. As a young professional, there is nothing more exhilarating or empowering than to discover that there is an appetite for what you have to offer. And NAAAP gave me that opportunity and the community that I needed to be able to do the work that I always wanted to do. Without it, I would have let my creative writing minor become the punchline to some joke about not having gone to med school. Without it, I would not be here today, the son of a Taiwanese immigrant, getting to help a daughter of Taiwanese immigrants articulate a vision for a Boston where there is no question that everyone belongs. That is the value that NAAAP provides, a belief in our community's ability to deliver on our dreams and the resources and the relationships to make that a reality. We are so excited to welcome NAAAP National to this city for their leadership convention this year. Thank you.
So thank you so much. I also want to just recognize there are members and leaders of our API ERG Employee Resource Group for the City of Boston here. Thank you for all that you do. And City Councilor Ed Flynn, who has been a great ally and represents Chinatown, was here. I think he had to step out, but just wanted to thank him for being here and for his support as well. Any questions from the media? Good. Nothing from Mike? Perhaps later. Okay, sounds good. All right, thank you so much, everyone. We can take a group photo up here, and thank you for being here.